Good evening everyone, and welcome to day 8 of the 40 Days of Hope. Today's message is a message of hope that God is with us always, even when we doubt. I'll be sharing a little bit first about John the Baptist because he came up in your reading yesterday, and then I'll share a story about a time in my life when I seriously doubted God and how he helped me through that. John the Baptist was very confident in who Jesus was. Twice when Jesus came on the scene, John said, "Look, the Lamb of God who takes away the sins of the world." And later on, John's followers came up to him and said, "Look, Jesus is kind of stealing your limelight. Everyone's now going to him to be baptized, you know." And John responded and he said he was filled with joy. He says, "Yes, he must become greater and I must become less." And yet then now, yesterday, we fast forward to Luke 7, and John's attitude has completely changed. He's now in prison, and he sends his friends to Jesus to ask him, "Are you the one who is to come, or are we to expect another?" You know, and I can really relate to him because there are times when circumstances in my life change and I can doubt God. And yet I just find it so reassuring how Jesus responded. You know, Jesus honoured John in his response. He said to the people, he said, "Truly I tell you, among those born of women, none has risen greater than John." Jesus didn't, just because John doubted him, you know, Jesus' feelings towards him, they didn't change. And this is a time in my life, I suppose, where, probably the most difficult time in my life in my faith, and it was just a few years back, and it all started. I bought this book 11 years ago. I was at a Christian conference. It's called Matters of Life and Death. At the time I was interested in medical ethical issues, and I just wanted to read up on it. Little things in the book like that it would cover is like conjoined twins dilemma, suicide of a terminally ill patient, or a woman gives birth at 66. And you know, I read that book and I put it on the shelf in Ireland. And a few years later I went home on a holiday. And I don't know why, that book just caught my eye, and I just had a sudden desire, you know, I'd really like to read that again. And so I brought it back to England, and it was the only book I brought back. And I don't bring back books regularly. I don't really recall bringing back one before. A few weeks later, one of my friends faced the biggest moral dilemma. You know, sometimes all the answers, you know, they're not very clear, and they're not in the Bible, and God doesn't make it too clear sometimes. And you know, I actually looked up this whole book, and there was no answer in it. You know, there was an awful moral dilemma. I really struggled with seeing my friends suffer, and you know, it was difficult. I brought all my questions to God. It made me question how I read different things in the Bible. But you know, for some reason, because I brought this book back and it was there on the shelf, and it was just such a coincidence, okay, the timing, and I just felt that God was letting me know that he was present, that he was comforting my friend, that he was there with them, and that he saw my doubting, and that he was present with me through it. And you know, I've come to the stage in my faith, because of my experiences, I've come to just accept that I don't see the bigger picture. And I've learned to lay my questions, and that doesn't say that I can't ask questions and I don't try and get answers to questions, no, but God's taught me to lay them at his feet and just to trust that he'll give me the answers that I need. You would have read from Proverbs yesterday. It's actually my husband's favourite verse, from Proverbs 3 verse 5, and it says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding." Tomorrow's message is going to be one for anyone who's suffered grief. I can't say that I've suffered deep grief in my life, so I've got some very special people coming to talk to you tomorrow. So do tune in if you are in that place at the minute. Okay, take care and enjoy your reading, everyone.